Hello again, my clever home buyers. This is my introduction to Module 3. And Module 3, I think I alluded to this when I described Module 2. Module 2 is quite light on, whereas Module 3 has got a lot of detail in it. However, it's also a little bit fun because it's full of wonderful links to websites that you can go exploring. You can really get lost in for hours, to be completely honest. So this is welcome to Module 3 workbook, and you'll be able to see that we are at the third step in our 9-step process of learning to buy a home like a buyer's agent. In this module, there are quite a few lessons, and the worksheets are really checklists and lists. So again, not like Module 1, not a lot of homework to do apart from exploring on the internet from your computer. So Module 3 is all about what we call desktop due diligence, as opposed to physical due diligence. Desktop due diligence is everything that you need to do to research a particular housing market, a particular location, and a particular home, all from your computer. So that's what this module is all about. Then in Module 4, we go into the physical inspections. So desktop due diligence. Turning the page, you can see that I have said, without conducting careful online research, you could be about to make a big mistake. So it is that crucial. As buyers agents, we tend to place a lot of our time and effort on this kind of research. And so we're going to teach you now how to do it. So what is due diligence? In Queensland, it is what it says here, buyer beware. And that means that when you buy a home, it's up to you to have done all of your research on that property and purchasing it as it is. Once it's in your name, that's it. Anything that you find wrong with the property after that is stiff pickies, really. So in most cases. And so I like to then provide you with the 3 professions who provide you with protection. Now, we did touch on these in Module 1. So if you were getting a buyer's agent, they are the most important person to make sure that you're protected. And your building and pest inspectors are very important. Trying to find a better way of describing it. They're just very important. And then your conveyancers will be the people who help you with the property transactions. Not just that. Conveyancers are an eagle set of eyes for you to identify places where you could trip up, where you need to do more investigating. They're also really good at helping you along with the process. Develop a relationship with your conveyancer and pick a good one who is very communicative. The reason that it's important to have a conveyance, the Brisbane market is moving so quickly that you'll find that sometimes you attend an open home and you need to be placing an offer that afternoon. And I can tell you now, the last home I bought, when we went through the open home, it was the second open home. We didn't get to the first one. We went through the open home at 1 or 1:30 that afternoon. And then we found that we were placing an offer on the property at 4:00 that afternoon. So you need to do a lot of this desktop due diligence before you even step foot into the property. There are 3 types of due diligence. Whilst we've got desktop due diligence that we do from our computer, and then the physical due diligence that we do with our own 2 feet, there are 3 types of due diligence. The first one is market research, and market research is mostly on the computer. However, can do market research by asking real estate agents how they feel the market is going, just having general conversations about it. Using your own eyes, if you turn up to an open home and there are 100% more people there than there were a month ago at the open home for a similar home, that's telling you something about the market. the types of people who are looking in that home. Attending open homes and attending auctions can give you some insight into the market. However, by far and large, the majority of research about the market is done on your computer. Then there's location research. The location research, again, the majority of that is done on your computer, and you will find that you are able to identify suburbs that are safer than other suburbs, schools, zones for the more affluent schools. You can even look and see where there is community housing, also known as housing commission. You can have a look at the public transport. There's a lot that you can do from your computer before you attend open homes. So this is really narrowing down whether or not you're even interested in wasting your time at that open home, because you can online before you attend that open home. You can do things like looking for mobile phone towers. There is just so much that we're about to talk about. So then the final part of the due diligence that you can do on the computer, or although most of it is physical due diligence, is the property research. And what I mean by doing that on the computer is you can have a look at the property online and you can see if it's in a flood zone. You can see if it's in a bushfire identified area. You can see if it is in a heritage area. You can see if that particular property has got a gas pipeline running right underneath it. You can see where the sewer pipes are in case you were interested in putting in a swimming pool. So there's a lot that you can research about that property before you attend the open home. And so if you've narrowed down the market research, the location research, then the pool of properties that you're looking at is much smaller and you can afford to spend the time doing due diligence from your desktop before you attend the open homes, and you're not spreading yourself too thin. Okay. So yes, you can do property research from your desktop before you attend the open home. Now, we will go into this in more detail in another video, but there are economic indicators that help you to understand the market, and there are trends that help you to understand the market. You can also, like I said before, you can look at crime rates before you get too interested in a particular area. The Queensland crime map is by the Queensland Police is really helpful for identifying if there have been murders in the neighbourhood that you're looking at in the last couple of years, or just having a look at drug offences and things like that, seeing the ratio of comparing one suburb to another suburb. If you've grown up in Brisbane, you've probably got a really good idea about that, but some people haven't. Researching schools. And so these are different options and ways that you can research schools and research flood zones. This page talks about the different types of flood zones in Brisbane. Then there's demographics, and I did hint before that you could have a look at public housing, but you can also look at things like, well, if we were to compare the suburb of Bardon, for example, to the suburb of, I don't know, totally different suburb, then you would see that the income levels in Bardon are higher, that, the household composition is going to be different. It's not going to be full of single people like, for example, at Nonda. And so getting insights into that can give you an indicator of more and also give you a realization as to why the houses and the homes are priced in a particular way in that area. Gives you insight. So the desktop due diligence, there's market research. So this is my checklist for you for different things to look at and understand so that you understand the market. Then the location research, these are the different things that you can look at to understand specific locations. And then the property research, these are the things you can do online before you attend the open home and after you've attended the open home. So you've attended the open home and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm really interested in this property. There's more online research that you can do after the open home. The trouble is, sometimes, like I said before, you don't get a lot of time for that. So you want to try and get the foundation of your due diligence online research done before you attend an open home. I've got a lot of links here. There are a lot of free market research reports, and these links all work. there's a lot of paid reports as well. And some websites have free reports and paid reports. So we've given you links to both of them. And local developments nearby, you might not be interested in looking at a property if you can see that right across the road it's zoned so that shops can be built there. So having a look at zoning and developments that might affect the area that you're looking to purchase in. And so we'll go into more detail, but local developments and broad developments. So there's safety certificates that you can research online as well. If there is a pool and smoke alarms, the sales agent should be able to provide you with information regarding the situation with those certifications. And then building certificates in case somebody's put on a deck or a granny flat or renovated a DIY bathroom. You need to have certificates to show that those have been approved by a building certifier. And there are some links here for the Brisbane City Council information about their building certifications. And generally, you'd get your conveyancer to do the search with the Brisbane City Council to make sure that something was certified. A deck that was built, for example, was certified if you can't get evidence of that. And then there are some more useful links there. For example, the one on the bottom of the second page, the owner-renter ratio. That's a really helpful set of information. Do you want to purchase in a neighbourhood where you've got predominantly owner-occupiers living in their own homes, predominantly investors who have renters living in the homes? Because there will be a bit of a different demographic there, of course. Then we get into the interesting things. So then we've got lots and lots of wonderful links to take you to, the first one is the Brisbane City Council City Plan. And the information that you can get on there is fabulous, absolutely fabulous. You won't need all of it. You will be interested in seeing a lot of it. And so we've given you lots of links here that you can click on and go exploring to your heart's content. There we go. We can see the link for finding out if your property floods. And there are lots of visuals. Once you have a look at the workbook closely, you'll be able to click on the links. And I've kind of highlighted a couple of spots where I'd want to draw your attention to the fact that you can change settings and move layers on and off on top of the maps to show different information. And for example, you might love riding your bike. And so being able to access where the Brisbane City Council bikeways are. And if you're into public transport, there's the information that you can look at to research the local bus stops and train stations and see how close one is to a property or properties an area, how well serviced it is by public transport. We've got the public school catchments, and we've also got the ability for you to have a look at the school results and identify schools that are performing better than others, if that's something that is of interest to you, if you have school-aged children. And there's the crime map that I was talking about. That's a PDF that it can generate showing you crime hotspots. There's also another one, which is a privately created crime map, which uses the Queensland Police crime data, but it just shows it in a different way, and it's quite useful. I like it. Walkability, if you love to get out and about and you want to see what a particular area's walkability score is, there's a great website for that. It's called WalkScore. And then this wonderful website, the Digital Atlas. Wow, has it got a lot of information on it? You can go down a rabbit hole with that website. ERSAD, demographic information, public housing, like I mentioned before. Say you were over 55 and you wanted to see where are the concentrations of over 55-year-olds. You can see there, I talked about it, the renters heat map, the affluent heat map, and then GeoRes Globe, which can show you mining operations. There are certain areas, for example, around Ipswich, where there are underground mining operations, and whether or not you're interested in purchasing a property that's sitting on top of one of those. This is great. It's a mine of information. Sorry. Archistar, that's phenomenal place to go. It has got a subscription offer, but there's a lot of information on there that's available for free. And, it uses the same data that the Brisbane City Council map uses, but it's different. It shows things in a different way. I love it. HTAG is the paid subscription, but got some great stuff on there for free. Just click on the link. Suburbs Finder is another one. It won't show you anything unless you pay for a subscription, but they do have a free trial. Unimproved land value. So this is it's really based on the size of your land and its location. Nothing to do with the value of the home on the land. The easements that are around. This is just one other way to view easements. And I like the way that this lays it out. It gives it to you very clearly. Mobile phone towers. Plethora of information. This workbook is not sunray angled. This is cool. Where do you want to put your veggie patch or your swimming pool? Or if you were building, where's the best aspect? So then when we're getting into the nitty gritty, we can see the water and sewer pipes that lead into specific properties. And you'll notice that on the side there, I've got it ticked. There's a lot of tick boxes that I've got ticked, and I've just highlighted that for you so you know how to get in there and get it on your screen as quickly as possible. Again, with Energex, dial before you dig. Dial before you dig is it produces reports for you. It'll email them to you, but it just takes a little bit more time to generate them. But dial before you dig is a good place to go if you're interested to see NBN connections. Have fun. This is a really good, important one. Historical photos. So have a look at these photographs here, and you can see the home that is in question. You can see the photographs that were taken of it before it was obviously had work done to it. So I think that having a look at historical photographs is an important way to see how many improvements and the quality of the improvements that have been made to the original property. So we've reached the end of this workbook. That was just a really quick overview. I'm sorry it took so long. That was like a long time, but there's a lot of information here. So this is my favorite module, to be honest. I love getting in there and having a look at all the data, and you can just get carried away a little bit. But thank you for watching this video. And I look forward to seeing you with the other smaller videos that are a little bit more detailed than this one.